right, Tuesday the 15th, we're on full body, we have a ladder. So what that means is you're either going up, increasing by a certain number every time, or going down. So we are going up. We're going 1 to 12, and I put in parentheses that's 78 reps. So if you weren't sure, like say you've never done a ladder before, and you're like, well, I don't know, maybe 1 to 12 is really easy, or maybe it's really hard. I'm giving you a reference. That would equal 78 reps of each exercise. So if you think that's too many, you might want to aim for a 1 to 10 ladder. Or if you're like, oh, I can do more, you might want to aim for a 1 to 16 ladder, okay? So that is, in parentheses, I'm telling you, if you do a 1 to 12 ladder, you will end up doing 78 reps of each exercise, okay? That's what that means. And if you see that it starts with 1, that means you're going up by 1. So you're doing 1 of each exercise, then 2 of each exercise, then 3 of each exercise, then 4 of each exercise, up to 12, okay? So that's why it's a ladder. We have single arm thrusters, weighted lateral lunges, and deadlifts. So single arm thruster, and then you would switch sides. And you can also sit to chair. Weighted laterals, so you could hold your weight however you want. You could even just drop it down by your side or opposite, reach across. That's probably what I would do, like that. And deadlifts. So this one, this is what it would pretty much look like. If you have an issue with deadlift versus a weighted squat, you can actually start with them on the ground, pick them up, drop it, reset, pick it up, drop it, reset, okay? So, single arm thruster. We've done, I don't know if we did thrusters in this program, but we typically do them. You have a weight in each hand, and it's where we do our squat and our shoulder press combined. Squat, shoulder press combined. This time, we're just doing one arm. So I hold it here, it's kind of balancing on my shoulder. I put the other arm out like this, just for balance. Squat, press, squat, press, squat, press. It's just one arm. Squat, press, squat, press. And again, if you have to, you can sit or either tap and go, or you can do a full sit and then stand up and press. So with this one, you just want to make sure that you're pressing straight overhead, arm is somewhere by your ear, you're not pressing forward, you're not going way backward, just press up. Doesn't have to be a heavy weight. That's really it for that one, that's pretty easy. Weighted lateral, so we have probably talked about lateral lunges in this program. So normally we either do stationary lateral, which looks like this. It's where you're kind of going to the side, but your butt is going back diagonal into that pocket back there. Or sometimes we step out, like I think we might have done the step kick. So you step out, come in, step out, come in. This time we're just adding a weight. So you can hold it up here like this. Sometimes I hold it almost like a cradle, like this. Sometimes if it's like a light enough weight where I'm comfortable holding it with one hand, I'll do this. So I kind of reach with the weighted hand across to my opposite like ankle. So it's up to you however you want to weight it, and of course you don't have to use weight if you don't want to. So again, just to recap the lateral, that's when you step out. All the weight is going to be transferred to this leg. You're going to sink your butt back into imaginary pocket back here, diagonal back. Now there's no weight on this foot. All the weight is on this leg. Push back. Your feet, your torso, your knee, everything should be pointing forward. You're not actually going to the side. You're shifting to the side, but your body's staying forward. And then our deadlift. So what I was explaining is, especially when you don't have a barbell, it's tricky sometimes for people to decipher between a deadlift and a weighted squat. So typically I only do straight leg deadlifts in this program because that's easier to separate. So your straight leg is when you come here, stand up, come here, stand up. When you're doing a full deadlift, your knees bend a lot more, and that's where people get confused. So even if your knees bend and you're doing a deadlift, your butt is still gonna be high. If I was doing a weighted squat, my butt would drop, okay? So if you think about it this way, you can kind of think about it between your shoulder and your butt ratio. If you were to do a weighted squat, your shoulders and your butt are kind of linear and they're kind of far apart, right? If I'm gonna do a regular deadlift, even though I'm coming down, my butt stays up and my shoulders actually drop down. So see, obviously they're not any closer because my butt and shoulders didn't move, but when you're talking about a plane, like if I were to have like a graph with dots, when I'm doing a regular squat, they're always this far apart, right? When I do a deadlift, it comes kind of like this. And now if you look at the space this way, my dots would be much closer together. So this is how you would think of your weighted squat. This is where your kind of shoulder and butt ratio would be for your deadlift. So this is what it would look like. A weighted squat would look something like this. So see, my butt is dropping straight to the ground. Your deadlift, your butt stays up here, okay? So your butt stays up high. This would be your weighted squat. This is your deadlift. Weighted squat, deadlift. So even though in both your knees bend, if you are trying to keep your butt away from the ground, that's more of a deadlift stance. When you drop your butt, that's a squat, okay? So again, it can be confusing. This is what it should look like, which to some people looks the same, although it's not. And you wanna make sure you're not rounding too much when you come down. So you don't have to worry if your weights hit the ground or not. That would be your deadlift. If that is confusing for you, what I suggest is put the weights on the floor, get in your stance, stand up, drop them, reset. Grab, stand up for your deadlift, drop them, reset. Grab, deadlift, drop, reset, okay? So your deadlift, regular deadlift, is from the ground up. When we do our straight leg deadlift, it is from standing to bending, okay? So they're almost opposite. Your straight leg, you usually start up with dumbbells and you go down. Your regular deadlift, you usually start on the ground with a barbell and you pull up, okay? So again, if you're confused, grab from the ground, drop them, reset. Grab from the ground, deadlift, drop them, reset. Grab from the ground, deadlift, drop them, reset, okay? If any of that is super confusing to you, or you still do not understand the difference between a deadlift and a weighted squat, message me, record yourself, and let me know if you're like, I don't see the difference, okay? And then we have dead bugs for part 2. Sorry, I forgot to show that in the beginning. Also, if you've never done a ladder, you do one of each in order. So you do one thruster per side, one lateral per side, one deadlift. Then you do 2 thrusters per side, 2 lunges per side, 2 deadlifts, okay? So it goes in order and it goes up, but you don't do like 1 to 12 on just the thrusters and then move on. You do them all 1, all 2, all 3. So then dead bugs, we're gonna be on a timer. So you're gonna choose between 30 and 40 seconds. We're all gonna rest for 20 and we're gonna do it for 3 rounds. So your dead bug, your knees are bent in tabletop, your arms are up straight above, and you're gonna lower opposite arm and opposite leg, but don't touch the ground. Just go kind of like lay out as far as you can, stretch out, return. Opposite, stretch out, but don't touch the ground, return. Stretch, return. To make it a little bit more difficult, you can take your shoulders and your head off the ground. So you're gonna be kind of like this instead of like this, and it puts a little bit more tension on your abs, okay? So that's your dead bug. And that is Tuesday.